Welcome back, my friends, to another video of the Patriotic Pickup. In the last video, I was toying around with the quote budget unquote turbocharger using the leaf blower on the engine. Well, what I had in mind for that was using this inverter that I got, which I actually got at a thrift store for only $12.99 last year. The only thing wrong with it was there was a button here to test how much power was still in the battery, and there's some burnage on the circuit board in there. That was the only thing that I found wrong with, well, not the only thing, that was I guess the main thing that I found wrong with it. The other thing that was wrong with it was it has an air compressor in it, and the hose was cracked and broken and everything, but that doesn't matter to me. Anyway, so I was going to try to use this inverter with this battery with... Come on! With this leaf blower. One second. So as I was saying, I was going to use that inverter with this leaf blower to somehow wire it so that I could have the leaf blower blowing air into the engine, giving a little bit of extra pressure for it, and then I could have it was running off of a jumper pack on the inside, and I could flip a switch and power it. Well, unfortunately, it's not powerful enough, or it doesn't put out enough amperage to run this leaf blower. So that's out. Another thing that I did while I've been silent on YouTube was I replaced these older flashers with some electronic ones. I got two of them. I put one in here for the actual turn signals, and then there's one behind here for the hazards. I should also note that by replacing them with electronic flasher units, I fixed the hyper flash that I was getting, or the weak flashing that I was getting, because I have the LEDs in these front side signals in here, but that I was getting with the older flashers, but with the electronic ones, it's not flashing quick, and it's not a weak flash now anywhere from these side ones to the front ones to the rear ones. I still, however, am getting both will work if I have the headlights and running lights off, but if I have the running lights, headlights on, only that one will flash, not these. So I still don't know exactly why that's happening. I did buy some regular old-fashioned bulbs, so I can eventually swap those into here just for the sake of trying and seeing if I put the old-fashioned bulbs in here, if that'll fix that problem. If not, then maybe it's a wiring issue. I don't know. And then the last thing that I did, while I haven't been posting anything, was I was looking through the manual, and I saw that the manifold air pressure sensor, the hose was supposed to be connected somewhere else over here, and then I got to looking, and there's a small hose back here, and there was a small hole in this piece right here, and so I stuck that in there, and the EGR hose, trying not to get in the light, the EGR hose, I did have it connected. I don't remember where I had it connected, but I saw a diagram anyway. I stuck it in there, and anyway, now it doesn't run rich. It's definitely not running as rich as it did, because the last time I got it filled up, well, the time before last, I went from the full mark to about where it is now, and I only got 80 miles out of it. Now, this last time I filled up, the needle was all the way past full because I completely filled it up. It's past full, and it's down to where it is now. And so far I've gotten, what was that, 218 point something? So it's definitely doing better on fuel economy. It's definitely not running as rich. So again, it just came down to the sensors weren't hooked up right or something. Now I am still getting, actually I don't think I've shown how to do this, so I might as well do that. Okay, the way you check codes in these older vehicles is the ODB 1, not 2, port is down here. It's only 12 pins. The more modern ones, the ODB 2 sensors or ports, they have, I think, 16 pins. But what you're supposed to do with these is take a jumper wire and connect these two right here, which is A and B. And again, I'll try to do this one-handed. I'll be right back. Yeah, I had to hold this thing while I wiggled that in. Of course, if it was screwed in, then I wouldn't have had that much trouble. But I'll get to that eventually. Screws are down in this thing, but anyway. So once you do that, well, actually, I never remember if you're supposed to turn the car on, well, not turn the car on, but move it to the on position, then put that in, or put that in, and then on position. But either way, on position, and the check engine light will start flashing. See, it flashes once, then a short pause, and then twice. So that's code 12. So that's the beginning and end. So 1, 1, 2, so 12. And so it does that 3 times, then it goes to the actual codes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's the code for, that's either for the MAP sensor, the manifold air pressure sensor, or the code for the EGR valve. It's getting both. 32 is one, 33 is the other. It'll flash the code 3 times. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now it's on to the second code. It'll flash it 3 times, and then once it's done, it's going to just do the code 12 again. So I'll let you see that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Long pause. And then it's back on code 12. And my check gauge's light came on for some reason. Anyways, alright, so that's how you check the codes. Where's my key clip? There it is. Okay, so alright, so that's how you check the codes. So it's those 2 codes, and I can't remember which is which, but I know it's the MAP sensor and the EGR valve. When I start the truck, it idles really rough, but then once I drive it for approximately 15 minutes or so, it kind of smooths out. Or I can start it up, drive it from here to the end of my driveway, shut it off, wait a second or two, turn it back on, and then it runs smooth. So there are some issues with the sensors. And then also, I was looking in the manual last night, and there's a diagram in there for the, well, there's a diagram in there for just about everything, but there's a diagram in there specifically for the vacuum lines, how they're supposed to be. And I think I have this wrong. The 89 model showed, and the reason I'm going with the 89 is, let's see if I can find it real quick. Chassis electrical, drivetrain, suspension and steering, brakes, that's not it. Engine and engine overhaul. drivability and emissions controls. I should have marked this page. Well, okay, here we go. The trouble codes. So, that's not it. That's not it. '85 to '87, '85 to '87. Come on. And different codes can mean different things depending on which model year, and also the engine size. Okay, 88 to 92, except the turbo. They missed the T. Okay, 32 EGR. Vacuum switch shorted to ground on startup, or switch not closed after the ECM has commanded EGR for a specified period of time, or EGR solenoid circuit open for a specified period of time. So it could be, that's the probable cause. And then 33, there we are, map sensor low vacuum, map sensor output to high for 5 seconds, or an open signal circuit. So those are the two codes. And now if I, okay, here's the vacuum diagrams. Alright, so again, in a previous video, I was talking about how, well, the video is specifically about the belt. I bought the belt that's supposed to run the power steering and bypass the AC pump for a 91 model, and it was too long. But if I go back and I look at the 90 model, the length on the belt is the size that I ended up getting at a local store in order to get it to work. Also, I pointed out before, there's a 90 written on the side of the engine. I don't know if that means that it's from 1990, or if that's just some other number code that they stuck on there. But the VIN and the truck is registered as a 91. But again, that's a 90. The belt had to be a 90 in order to get it to fit. And if I look at the 91, which this is a VIN A, my truck is a E. But if you look, there's not a EGR solenoid. Well, okay, the EGR solenoid is right there. And I don't know if that means that it's supposed to be on the side of the sensor or not. But if we go back to an 89 type E, the solenoid is a separate unit, and that looks more like what I have here, where it has the one on this side and the two on this side. So if I go by this, I have the one hose coming in from the left that goes to the throttle body, and then I have the one on the right that goes to the EGR valve, and the top one, it says vent. And over here, this one on the left goes directly to the throttle body. The one on the bottom I have to the EGR valve, and so this top one I had the manifold air pressure sensor plugged into, but this is saying that it's not. It says vent, which I assume vent means just open. I could be wrong, probably am, but anyway. So if this other hose that goes to there is not supposed to plug into here, lots of jumping back and forth. So if we look at the map sensor, right there, map sensor, it has it going directly to the throttle body. It doesn't really have, it doesn't have it splicing off to anything else. So I'm wondering if I need to take, if I take this off and look in there. So the weird thing, you can't see. Okay. My hand was in the way. So if I take this hose off of here and I look down there in the EGR valve, it kind of looks like there's a small hose about this size that's broken off in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the EGR valve, not the EGR valve, the MAP sensor, manifold air pressure, and plug it directly to this and completely take this out for the moment and see if this makes a difference. When I first started, so I haven't started the truck up today. It's cold. If I can start it without holding down the gas pedal, and if it idles correctly, then I'll solve the problem. If not, it could be this, it could be something else. And again, just for the sake of pointing out, it jumps from 89 to 91 over here. So that's a 91, that's a 91, that's a 91. But I don't see a 91 2.5 VIN E. I just see 91 2.8 and 91 4.3. So I don't know how much of a difference that VIN A to VIN... Well, then again, they specify it's a VIN A, so I would assume that if they have to specify that, then there should be a difference between the two, because there's not a separation between some of the others. Anyway, so let me put this in there somehow, and I'm going to leave that open. We'll see if that works. If not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with my multimeter and some probes, and I'm going to actually check the voltages for this connection, make sure the MAP sensor is working correctly. I'm also going to check the throttle position sensor and make sure it's working correctly, because again, I have to hold the gas pedal down in order to get it to crank, and it runs rough if it's cold. But if I run it, even if I just run it for 3 minutes and then shut it off, then turn it back on, chances are it'll run smooth after that. So I'm going to check that one. And then there was one other that I was going to check. I can't remember what it was. I know there's supposed to be, I think I googled it, and there was something said about a rough idle. If it's idling rough when it's cold, but then once it warms up, it runs better. It could also be the either the intake air temperature sensor, or it was the coolant temperature sensor, one or the other. And so I know this is something. I'm not quite sure what it is. It doesn't look like it's on a part that would have the coolant flowing through it. So that might be, I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, let me do that hose first, see if that changes anything, and then I'll come back and check the other stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I got some fuel line that I have. So the fuel line I cut into a little piece. The smaller hose will fit inside this, and then this will fit inside this little piece here that was on the port that is marked vent in the book, and then the other end of that piece fits in the MAP sensor. Okay, I've got it hooked up, got the air cleaner housing back on. Now we'll come over here and we're going to try it. So I'm not going to, at first I'm not going to press the gas pedal like I've been having to do. I'm just going to see if it starts without that. If it doesn't, then I'll try hitting the gas pedal a little bit, and we'll see if it If it idles smoothly, then we fixed something. And if it doesn't, then we might have... I don't know, let's just try it. Okay. Let's see if it comes up a code. Because normally when I first start it, it'll actually come up the code. Like, if it's running rough and I'm giving it gas, then the code is not there. But if I take my foot off the accelerator and put it on the gas pedal, as if I'm coming to a stop sign or a red light, a few seconds after I take my foot off the gas, the code will come up. But if I do the trick where I turn it on and let it run and then turn it off and then turn it back on, the code doesn't come up. Or if I'm running the truck for about 15 minutes, it eventually clears up. And I'm not seeing the code come on, and it's running really smooth now, so I don't know if that fixed anything. I guess time will tell. I guess we'll find out. What I'll probably do is I'm still gonna check. I can still check the signal to and from the map sensor, and actually I might not even do that because it just started up and it's running smooth. If that was just from me having it plugged into the wrong port, then I might just leave well enough alone now and see if over the course of this coming week, driving it to and from work, if there's any point where I start it up and it's idling rough again and the light comes on, then I'll know maybe there's something else. But for right now, it just started up, it's fine. I'd have to, maybe later on tonight, I'll come out here, start it up again, and see if it starts off rough. If it does, then that'll be an indication. But if I do that tonight and it starts off fine like this, and during this week, if every time I go to start it up, if it starts up fine and idles fine like this, then we solved something. Okay. So, that noise that you're hearing, I know you've been hearing it in the past however many videos that I've made that I've had it running. It's the fan hitting the housing here, because if I press down here, it gets worse. But if I come over here and press on the side of the housing, it goes away. So it's just the fan blade hitting the shroud there. What I plan on doing sometime soon is I'm gonna get a heat gun, heat up the plastic there, and then push on the side to hold it and let it cool down to a slightly different shape, and see if that takes care of that, the fan hitting the shroud. Something else that I need to do is I'm gonna put the, I think it's called the snorkel, I'm gonna put it back on and run it from here to over here. There's an opening through the metal there that then comes out down there for it to get cooler air. And if you've seen it on a previous video, it needs to be fixed. The reason why I'm not buying just a whole new one of these, because I can't find one. When I go online and I look up the intake, well, if I look up cold air intake, because that's technically what this is, because it goes to where cold air would be coming in, If I type that in, it comes up aftermarket parts. It doesn't come up anything OEM. If I type in Chevy S10 air cleaner housing snorkel, again, it just comes up aftermarket cold air kits. So I haven't been able to find a place where I could just buy one of these and replace it. I've checked. Yeah, I mean, I've checked online. So that's online retailers. That's brick and mortar stores. I can't seem to find this part, or else I probably would just replace it if it's not too expensive. What I plan on doing is taking a 4-inch dryer vent hose and taping it on that side, probably just cutting all this middle part out and then taping it over here, maybe putting large hose clamps on both ends, just to, so that then that would be a non-holy replacement for this, or I would just be fixing it. But if any of you know where I can get one of these, short of going to like a pull apart and hoping that there's one that's not in this condition, or like I don't think I've even seen one on eBay. Again, every time I look it up, or anything like with air intake parts for my truck, it doesn't come up anything. So if any of you know where I can get one of these, or have any ideas, or if any of you have one, send me a message, write a comment down below the video. I'd appreciate it. I mean, just so that I could get an idea of cost and whether or not it'd be cheaper to just, because I already have the dryer vent. All I have to do is cut about a foot off of it and fix it on here. But yeah, thank you for joining me with this little update video and me reconnecting that hopefully the correct way, and hopefully that solved at least one more issue. Thank you for your patience, because I know it's been a while since I put out a video, and I appreciate your taking time to watch this one, that you haven't gotten mad at me and you're just like, I'm not going to watch him anymore because he took too long. Anyway, life happens. There are things that are more important. Believe it or not, there's stuff that's more important than vehicles. And anyway, but please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, send me a comment. I'd appreciate any advice, any support, any info or input or information that any of you might have. Again, thank you. Have a good night. All right, here we are about 5 hours later, just to see how it does, starting it up from getting cold again. So it takes a little bit to get going. Normally when I hit the gas pedal, it starts up a lot quicker, but it's running smoother. It's idling kind of high. Light's not coming on. Okay, it's settled out. Alright, I guess. But then again, was it the fact that I wasn't hitting the gas pedal, I was letting it start up on its own, versus before I had done it? No, I still had it. Okay, anyway. I'm just gonna assume that it's done correctly now, and throughout this week as I'm driving it, I'll just keep checking it and everything. Maybe the next time I start it, I will put my foot on the gas pedal just to see if that makes a difference. If doing that and then it starts off idling rough, then maybe that would mean it'd be the throttle position sensor or something. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. I'll update you the next time I make a video.